Hi, and welcome to another edition of the Aussie Ideas Man.
Still here, so let's see if I fit. I fit very easily back here, but let's close it. I fit. You can't see me though. It's actually not that expensive. The base model APTERA starts at $25,900. That's it. That's an insane deal for a car this futuristic. The reason that this car isn't ungodly expensive is because there's just not a lot of car here. There's no massive innovations being made with this. They're just taking a lot of really, really good ideas that have already been known and putting them all together into one car. The battery pack in this thing can be so small. For 250 miles of range, for reference, on something like the Kia EV9, you're gonna need about a 100 kilowatt hour pack. This thing, you need a 25 kilowatt hour pack. A quarter of the size of the battery pack because of just how efficient it is. I would never have to plug in this car. This is Robert. Robert likes electric cars. Robert, what are your thoughts on the APTERA?
Honestly, I love the shape.
Nerd. Out of 10 what is Cody's rating system? For a startup company, they have been impressively successful without any major backers. You guys are fully self-funded. You just closed your accelerator program. So that means you raised $30 million?
$33 million.
$33 million from the accelerator program in this car, which is just insane. That's like a huge crowdfunding thing that they just pulled off on this car. So the amount of progress that APTERA has been able to make over the past couple years with this car is just so impressive to me. And to people who are saying like, oh, this company's gonna go under or anything like that, being in the car and driving it and seeing APTERA's facilities here in Carlsbad, California, I have no doubt that they're going to reach production and that this is going to be a very popular car. Watch, when these cars start getting driven by customers on the road, they're going to be better than a Cybertruck in terms of popularity, and better in every other way because I hate the Cybertruck. Looking at what APTERA has done on such a smaller scale than what Electromechanica did on such a bigger scale, it's easy to see that they're not just another startup company. This is easily a company that you can put your money behind. Being able to see behind the scenes at APTERA, being able to see their solar manufacturing, and even some stuff that I couldn't show you, like their BMS system, super cool. When you guys see that, that's gonna be so cool. But this gives me a lot of hope for the future of this company, which is good, because I invested in them. But despite that fact, this seriously is an insanely impressive electric vehicle startup company, and I have huge faith in them.
I think it's cool, like there's not that much body roll or anything like that. Right?
No.
Like, if you really corner it.
Well, that probably has to do something like with the three wheels too, I imagine.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, it's so sporty. So yeah, with the Solo, comparing it to another three-wheel car, when you whip the Solo, it feels like you're gonna tip over. This thing is so stable on the road.
Yeah, it's awesome. awesome.
I imagine you can't flip this thing, especially with the low center of gravity with the battery pack being below us.
Yeah, no way.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun. You know, by coming out here to Carlsbad and driving this car, you've absolutely screwed me over that I have to go back home and drive my Chevy Volt for another however many years until I get my delivery.
Oh my gosh.
Everything is just gonna feel worse. It feels exactly like a normal car. And that's a good thing. The driving experience is fun, but it's not substantial in a good way. It doesn't feel like it's trying to be something that it isn't. It feels like an efficient car that I could drive 1,000 miles on the max pack on this car and not have to charge once. I also gotta say, using the yoke, I'm loving it. Honestly, I don't know if this is the normal position to use a yoke steering wheel with my hands on top like this, but when I get my APTERA, this is how I'll use it, because this actually feels like a very natural driving position. Does it have proportional steering?
What do you mean by that? Like it's 1-to-1?
1-to-1?
Yeah.
Okay. Will that be the same on production?
Yeah.
Cool. And, yeah, get out of here. I don't want you in my video anymore.
All right, I'm gonna stay here.
Get out of here. We need Chris. I don't, get the f out of here. So, what percentage of this car would you say is production intent?
I mean, it's hard to give a percent because, you know, like the headroom, the legroom, kind of your seating position is production intent, right? The way the drive is, the suspension is pretty close. Everything's just gonna get a little bit better. So if you think of like a percent and like how cool it feels, it's probably like 80% of the way to how cool it's gonna be. You know?
Absolutely.
So imagine this with sound deadening and more dialed in and, you know, AC and all that. It's gonna be really awesome.
Even for a prototype though, this feels production. This doesn't feel like a prototype driving it. I mean, there's a little bit of quirkiness with the screen, and the lack of power brakes and power steering is noticeable, but beyond that, it feels very ready. It's not gonna be for everyone. If you have to do towing, if you have to do, if you need more than 2 seats, it's not for you. But if you're doing a daily commute, or just need like a weekend car or something to take up to the mountains, or something to take cross-country, the APTERA is the perfect car for it. This is Chris McCammon. Is that how you say your last name?
Yeah.
Cool. Chris, who are you?
I'm the content manager at APTERA.
Oh, you work here?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I was going to ask you what you think. Okay, 10 out of 10, what do you think of the car?
This is 10 out of 10.
And if someone wanted to reserve an APTERA, where would they go to reserve one?
APTERA.us. That's it.
Cool. You should reserve one. It's $100 down? Great deal.
70 with your referral code.
Oh, I didn't know I had a referral code.
Do you now?
Right there. Use that. Let's talk about charging on the APTERA. Obviously, you can solar charge this car, but on top of that, behind your rear license plate, you have a NAX port. Let's talk about charging speeds real quick. This car can charge at around 40 kilowatts, which if you know anything about EV charging is very slow, but not for the APTERA. Because it's so efficient, 40 kilowatts means that this car gets 400 miles per hour on a charge, which is just insanely cool and efficient. You don't need a big charger to charge this car fast. Just another benefit of being a hyper-efficient electric car. We're here in an alpha prototype APTERA, which is a way earlier one. This is one of their first prototypes, but this is much more prototypey than the other one. It is actually much smaller in here. Already, it feels a lot different to drive than the other one. Definitely notice the lack of power steering in this one, but noticeably smaller in here. The other one is only 1% larger in terms of volume, but you feel that. And this thing, I feel like I'm sitting up really high. So the amount of refinement that's happened since this prototype and the Gamma is pretty insane. This one also has some pretty rough suspension. This is one of the earliest prototypes, so it's super cool to compare and see where they've come with the Gamma prototype, because it's a huge improvement, and this is already an impressive prototype.
It's a piece of history.
It's a piece of history, absolutely. This will probably be a museum piece one day, I imagine. Thanks for walking us through that assembly line.
No problem. It's all back there.
Yeah, there's a ton of cool stuff here. There's a lot of cool stuff. A lot of it can't show you, but thank you for walking us through the solars.
No problem.
That's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know I did. I was so excited when I got a response from APTERA telling me that I could not only come and check out their prototypes, but also drive it. Also, I was just informed that I'm the youngest guy to ever drive it at 20 years old, so that's a flex. And here I am. It's going to be really sad going back to my Volt. I'm not going to go back to the Volt.
That's all for me. Bye for now. Stay safe.